Y'all are awesome. You just kind of quieted down.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't even wait for me to say anything. I love y'all. Welcome, Akron. How y'all doing?
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad you're out here. We have a fantastic feature for you tonight. Yeah, I'll call him up here in just a minute if he's ready, but I started walking up. You started walking as I went up. Okay, so I'll tell you a couple things. First, give it up to the Rialto Theatre. Love this place so much, love these guys so much. Your bartender tonight is Sara, because Seth, our usual bartender, as you know. Am I allowed to announce this? Yeah. All right, so Seth, our usual bartender, co-owner theater with Nate Vale back here. He and Christina just had their baby, so somehow didn't come to the show tonight. But much congratulations, much love to Seth and Christina and the baby. So we have Sara tonight for all your needs at the bar. Nate's cooking for us back there. Make sure you get your orders in if you haven't yet. We'll have an open mic. There's a sign-up list over there. If you're not yet on it, we'll keep it to 2 poems or less. And you can do 3. You'll know why later if you don't already. But we'll bring the open mic up here in a little bit. But we're going to have our feature start us off as usual and then end the show as well. I don't know how long I've been connected with Scott, but if you're not yet, you really need to be. Some of the people in the room can definitely attest to that. Amazing poetry, but amazing writing in general. Like some of the most poignant, spot-on shit I see on Facebook or on Instagram comes out of this man, and it's always interesting. It's always thoughtful. So follow, do the things you do on social media. Poet, author, event host, librarian, tons of things out there we could say. Please welcome all the way from Columbus, Scott Woods.
Hello.
Hey.
So I'm gonna say a couple things before we get into this whole poetry thing. I am extremely, extremely happy to be here. Also, this isn't messing anything up for you, is it? Me moving that? So I was supposed to be here in September, last September, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I felt really bad because, I did and I didn't. I did because I never cancel a gig. I would never, ever do that. But I had an opportunity to do a book talk with Percival Everett, and I was like, hey, would it be possible? And very graciously rescheduled. And so this is my first gig of 26, and I am so happy to be here doing poetry with all of you. The list looks like there's a lot of poets in the room, so I feel very at home already. Thank you very much. Is there anybody here for whom this is their first poetry reading?
Not my first poetry reading, but my first time here.
First time here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Are you a poet?
Yeah.
That was good.
This is him and Hahn back there.
Well, my wife was an artist, so she got me into doing poetry, but
But not
there was
art.
times that I had to do a strict, what she calls strict job, and
Oh. That's every artist for the record.
Right?
That differentiates you in no way whatsoever.
so
What's your name?
My name's Niels, but I go by Artulis Tidemand.
Okay, I will not be using that tonight. This conversation is fucking over. So real quick, I've published 3 books of poetry. The most recent one was in 24. And I'll be reading a little bit, probably from each, and some new stuff since that book came out. Is that cool?
Yes, cool.
Okay. Now, I didn't even ask how long the first set is supposed to go, so we're just going to read, and then, or I'm going to read, and then I'm just going to kind of just keep looking that way until something happens. All right?
Sounds good.
Thank you. So, as we are here in a space like this, which I love, I ran an open mic for 24 years.
Wow.
In a space like this, so I feel very much at home right now. And I like to tell people that I'm not religious, like at all, but if I have a religion, it's food. And so this first poem is going to be about that, kind of. It's entitled A Restaurant Guide for My Would-Be Assassin. And every place that I describe here is a real place. You can find me at a Southside bar early, devouring 2 pieces of thick battered French toast, my grandmother's coffee, 3 strips of bacon. Having no windows, the day never begins until I say. You can find me at 2 Asian restaurants. One knows me by name, one knows me by appetite. I sometimes hold court on the seating side of a barbecue joint on Champion. But as it only has 1 exit, I do not advise it. If you wish to be cosmopolitan about this killing, you could find me at a steakhouse with a baby grand stuffed into the middle of a savory womb that still thinks it's a supper club. Your chances of catching me over a styrofoam tray of chicken wings in several parts of town is very, very great. Once a month, you can lay me out over the slick and oily wax paper of a southern boil. I only ask you let me finish the snow crab cluster first. I have spent a king's ransom at the gas station on my way to work, where I was jumped by a gang as a child. That one is a lie. It was a different gas station. I was trying to throw you off the scent. Any place that serves shrimp and grits is a good killing ground. You will not find me anywhere that serves food in under 5 minutes. Like love, the way to my heart is through my stomach. I will be easy to spot. I'll be sitting at the bar where the waiters argue and gripe, wishing someone would put them out of their misery. This next piece, I never, like ever write poems about my wife. And so, conversely, we've been married 20 years. But I did write this one, because she does this thing in the car. And I didn't notice for a long time. I was driving, and then once we hit the ramp, on a certain ramp in Columbus, she goes, and I would just be like, she's crazy. So, but then I asked her about it, and she was like, oh, no, you see the camera, the city has a big camera, and so I just hit them with the peace signs, and then maybe one day they'll notice. And so I wrote a poem about that. It's entitled Peace Sign. Every time I turn off the freeway toward home, she throws a double peace sign through the windshield into the sky. It took me 3 times before I noticed, because that James Road curve is no joke. It's for the surveillance camera, she says, which no one could miss, shooting into the sky on top of a needle tower, Sauron surveying his kingdom of blight, poking into the eye of God and anyone who loves sunsets. She tells me that one day someone is going to look through the tapes, and if the hour is right, they'll notice a 13-year-old Nissan Sentra giving them peace signs. And if they notice it once, they may look for it again, and they will laugh. And the overseer will turn to his comrade and say, look at this car with the peace signs. And the 2 of them will laugh and scroll through the timestamps. And they will find it again a day later. 2 black peace signs shot through the screen. And each of them will stop looking at their monitors. The whole team fixated on counting how many peace signs they've missed. One might be inclined to say, look how you have brought joy to the mundane, how you have brightened a day at night, how even your oppressors have given way to laughter. But in my house, we say, keep their eyes on the funny parts, in the fleeting fingers of peace, while all of the revolution is happening one screen over, and they realize too late that we were throwing gang signs against their very existence.
Yeah. I, among many other things that I do, I own an art gallery, and so I frequently have to go visit other galleries to see what's happening, to learn the trade, to be aware, that kind of thing. And in Columbus, we have several, institutions of art. But this is true for almost all of them, even everywhere, actually, everywhere. This one is entitled Artist Unknown. All of the sculptures from Africa are by unknown artists. Anonymous, they say, impossible to know. Except, I have a cousin that looks like the Queen Mother pendant mask. Two aunts built like Chihuahua sculptures carrying Mali on their heads. I've seen my mother strike a Dagon pose in the last pew of Church of Christ, her cooking arm over the back of the bench. The manifest of my people says Nelsonville and Georgia. Maybe Cherokee if you give my grandmother enough brandy and coffee. Blood is our provenance and our identity. Apparently, no one is escaping high blood pressure. My people are models, and then still life, and then dust. No one will remember their names either, or the curves they cut into the land and a welfare line. Even now, I am fuzzy on the trail. The front of the family Bible run cold. The tree forever stuck in autumn, all root, no leaves, waiting on some curator to come along and see its merit. Maybe just enough value, whatever that means today, to put us on display. Since there are a lot of poets in the room, I'll read this one. This one's entitled The You Without Poetry. Is not much of a thinker. Smokes 3 times what you smoke now, to compensate for all of the things she cannot see in her mind. Sees a rose's thorn as a challenge. Took that fireman job and still didn't do anything with the 2 days off. Lives the life you want, but wants the life you have. Is scared to know everything. Is scared of the unknown. Sees the bus as a jungle and not a buffet, which is to say, they metaphor wrong. Doesn't wrestle with genocide at all. Actually, that is the you with too much poetry. The you without poetry wrestles with minutia and pretends a cubicle is a crime against humanity. Sees a dancing plastic grocery bag, but spears it for litter. Cannot take it as the wind trying to clarify her wishes before answering. Wants to end it all, but cannot find the words for the letter. So takes things slow. The bottle, the fattened line in reflection, the mute boredom of every Tuesday morning. This one's less depressing. So, I used to do this thing on my website where I would keep track of all the Scott Woodses online because there were no black Scott Woodses. And so I was like, wow, really? The world? Just in the whole world, huh? And so I kept this little list and I would just keep adding to it and I would link to the Scott Woods in question. And I don't know, I got to about 100 and at some point I stopped. And because it was getting really bad. And this is early internet.
internet. It's not like yesterday. I've since found a Black Scout Woods. And anyhow, this one's entitled The Scott Woods I Have Not Friended Online. That Scott Woods is the 5th Scott Woods to send me a friend request. For the record, I just want to point out that one of my early Scott Woodses was the Canadian fiddle champion. And really, and he was very good. I watched videos of him, and then we got like in contact for a little while because we both needed fans. So, yeah. Just a side note. Footnote. That Scott Woods is the 5th Scott Woods to send me a friend request. That Scott Woods has 3 children, but clearly has a favorite. That Scott Woods dresses up for Halloween, poses with his daughter of choice. One year he is a werewolf, she a zombie of the Monster High variety. Oh, yes. Do you know what that is? Do y'all know what that is?
I think I do.
It's called the Scott.
All right.
My friend. I posted about a Twilight Zone marathon about police abuse. It is physically impossible to pull that Scott Woods over. He is blonde. He is on a boat. He was in the military and will never forget. I am black, scared of boats, and chill at the sight of camouflage. I forget so many things, go out of my way to forget. That Scott Woods loves sunsets, and this we have in common. We do not see them from the same type of places. He wouldn't know anything about climbing a carryout dumpster to see the sun. That Scott Woods has a tattoo on his left bicep. I cannot tell what it is, but it is old. The color running into the pool water he is swimming in. My entire life is tattoo. My color never runs. I do not swim, but not because my color runs. That Scott Woods has at least one brother. They look alike. I don't look like any of my brothers. If we weren't related, we wouldn't even know each other. That Scott Woods looks like he would seek his brother out for a beer and a boat and sunset. That Scott Woods is in a group picture with 30 other people. All of them are white. It is a social setting. I am unclear if that Scott Woods has any black friends. Perhaps this is why he sought me out. I can make friends out of white people anywhere because they are everywhere. Where that Scott Woods lives clearly has a dearth of black people. I might start with the black people with my name too. He likes his coffee like he likes his friend requests. Black. Except I am the only one on deck that I can tell. So he may simply be black curious. And it is wholly possible that he is drinking tea in a wholly inappropriate cup. It takes me several pages worth of scrolls to uncover that Scott Woods lives in England. Now everything is different and yet exactly as expected. Now that Scott Woods has an accent. That Scott Woods is definitely drinking tea. I thought that when he chided his friend Michael about asking what time kickoff was, that he meant football, which is to say, my football. We don't even have that in common. I have looked up over 75 Scott Woodses on the internet in my lifetime. All of them have been white. I have never met any other Scott Woodses face to face. This Scott Woods won't be the one that breaks the streak. I may be the only black Scott Woods in existence. A Dahlia hologram floating in an electric ocean, picked in the wild by a me searching for a version of himself that loves dead bluesmen and bad barbecue, which I would feed him in that order, because we Scott Woodses have to look out for one another.
Yeah.
So decadent. You're smiling so hard. Did you put some love into this? Oh, man. Here we go.
I was gonna say, now I gotta shoot it at somebody.
Oh, that's exciting. Thank you very much. All right.
You're the only Scott Woods who ever had one.
My friend, I am absolutely positive that you're correct. So, I don't know, maybe a couple more? You want a couple more? Is that,
Yeah, that'd be great.
is that cool? All
Love
right.
it.
I don't want to break any house rules.
No, you're good.
Okay. So, I love horror, like horror movies. But I hate zombies. I'm really tired of zombies. And so I kind of wrote a poem about that, but about more than that, obviously. This was a love poem. Kinda. It's entitled, I Hate Zombies Like You Hate Me. Here is what I wish would happen. A windy November day, before the snow has spilled its milk, and the leaves still grip the ground in their stiff handshakes. That, while visiting your grandmother's grave, having cleared away the autumn debris and dew dust, I wish your grandmother would break the crust and reach for you, swirl her knobby apple pie baking bones around your ankle, and drag herself out of the trench she has been digging, staring at you with unblinking, pus-laden eyes, yellow from a lack of sun and birthdays, moaning from her diaphragm and her throat at once, baring her teeth after having popped mortician stitches, aimed at your snot-nosed 5-year-old who only wants to know if you're going to stop at McDonald's on the way home. I wish that in that mortifying moment, you remember how, while we sat in a theater, in the trailer for yet another zombie movie, splayed across the cinema canvas, you turned to me and said, zombies are awesome. And when I said, I am so sick of zombies, you tightened your lips and lost my phone number. So I wish that your grandmother was followed by another grandmother, and another, and a jawless uncle who lost his way after the war. And, because it's Veterans Day, he will become a wily zombie general, and his moans will mean something. And on his one-armed, jawless command, every grave with the flag spits forth the contents of their dingy bellies, and the zombie invasion begins. Right there, where you are, while you try to remember what was so cool about them in the first place. It used to be vampires. So fine, so literate, so thin and grazed of chin. You used to coo over them, pecked at every book featuring a woman too abundant for corsets, two red dents of ancient love dotting her pristine neck. Even you would have to admit that just because you've been bitten in the neck and turned into an undead count's whore wouldn't make you a better lover. You would still be as ugly as you ever were. You'd just be ugly longer. If we are honest, we do not love the zombie. We do not think the zombie is cool. We do not imagine the zombie for a lover, or a count, or a Tom Cruise Brad Pitt sandwich. None of their stories are about them. All zombie stories are about us. About the people who aren't zombies. And how we scream and run and die when something without the brain God gave a snow globe manages to destroy us in a shopping mall. So all zombie stories are about autumn, and brains, and shopping carts, and whatever else we can throw in their shambling path to make the uncool undead hooligan cool again. So here was what I wish would happen. that next Veterans Day, when you visit the grave of your stoic and cigar-munching grandfather, that the wind whispers the only warning you're apt to receive. And then you think about the fact that I bought the popcorn and the tickets and the gummy bears you let fall through the seat and shrugged at like they didn't cost shit. And you remember when Gramps is chomping at the bit from underneath you, his purple heart swinging from the ventricles of his purple heart. You remember that I was a good man you let slip through your fingers. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I'll save that one for the next set. Save that one too. Save that one too. We'll do this one. Of the poets in the room, how many of you have published books or chapbooks? Yeah? Give it up for the published poets. Did any of you ask for blurbs for your book?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
It was painful.
Which part? The asking or the blurbs?
The asking.
Yeah? It's awkward. Yeah, it's like, hey.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. So I occasionally am asked to write blurbs for books of all kinds. And so this is just a short list. Take it out on a short list. Of blurbs for poetry books I didn't like. This book is filled with passion. The poet's love for their own work is evident. One can only imagine the hours he must spend reciting his work to himself. Not what I expected at all. This poet's work has energy. Something tells me this collection will find its audience with no trouble at all. I am speechless. This writer is prolific in a way that suggests a singular dedication to their muse, who must be very tired by this point. The work reminds us of the banality of everyday problems and the pain associated with encountering them over and over, on and off the page. The art lies in hiding the art, Horace tells us. And this poet has literally buried the art. Yeats said poetry arises from the quarrel we have with ourselves, to which we are left to surmise that the work presented here is a testimony to a knockdown, drag-out, furniture-ripping debate over the poet's self-worth. The poet stands naked here, and one cannot help but stare, mouth open, jaw dropped, belly churning with chaotic awe at the display presented before us. The formality of this collection is so discreet as to have no formality whatsoever. Finally, work that deserves to be read by others. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Scott.
That was terrific. Give it up one more time for Scott Wood. We are going to take a break here in just a minute. A few things you can do while we're on break. You can order a Scott or whatever else you prefer from Sara back here at the bar. Nate's cooking food, Sarah's on drinks. But talk to Sara either way. Not that Nate's not enjoyable to talk with, but there is a merch table over here. You can feel free to look through that. I've got new stickers free. I've got some Moo Motherfucker magnets that are free tonight too. Feel free to grab either or both of those if you would like. Scott did not bring books today because they're sold out, but you still can use this time to connect with Scott, to order those books online. Talk with another amazing human. We're filled tonight with some great folks, some first-timers here in the theater, some who've been coming here for a long, long time. So yeah, talk amongst yourself. Enjoy, use the restroom, get your drink and food orders while we can make lots of noise because nobody's on the mic. It's a perfect time for that. And we'll see you in about 10 minutes. All right, y'all, I'm going to take that pause in conversation. I loved how many great conversations I heard going around the room. We got an open mic, y'all. Keep bringing that energy out. It always makes the night even better when the energy comes in. The poets can give it back out to you. We've got a nice mixture. We've got some folks that will be brand new to this mic. We got some folks that are regulars, some folks kind of in between. Our first one up to the open mic has been here once before. Yeah, you signed right at the top. You get to start us off. I hope you're now a regular. Please welcome Diana Lueptow.
Thank you so much. Find this what I'm going to do here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually try to put myself pretty far down the line, so. So I've got a couple of poems. The first one's very short, just 8 lines. The second one's a prose poem. From just pretty much written last few days about the current time of year. Here's the shorty. Triolet, January 6th. Day the wise kings arrived, the mob surged upon the battlements. They'd made of home a curse to lob. Day the wise kings arrived, the mob sowed hate like clover seed on sod, wet as spring. It's what they meant. Day the wise kings arrived, the mob surged upon the battlements. Triolet, it's one of those little goofy French forms that repeats a lot, obviously. Triolet. So this is a prose poem, and I put together recently, but it was really a lot of notes that I took and a little mini travelogue over a day 5 years ago. And this was mostly in Medina, Wayne County, that area, Amish country. History. Bear Swamp Road, Egypt Road, sheep deployed in fields, old Christmas. Going to return a gift and see buggies I pass, an oil derrick, prayer flags in a wet field, windmills. A storm's remnant is a squared tower, brethren, once steepled. The wind's remnant, friends, matted reeds of pond and marsh. A storyline like a sign. Turned on cell at the Octagon House. Starlings carrying the field up Chippewa. A graveyard graces a meadow. A sign, fresh produce just ahead. Black trotters clip-clop, horse in a field shakes its mane. Hour between dog and wolf. Now passing lighted buggies. A sign, sugar boxes, beehives. Young man from blacksmith shop, loping walk to truck in the windows, to truck for a pickup. Sign at the hardware. Wise men still seek him. Salt Creek, Trump flags in the windows, Mennonites leaving a pizzeria. A sign, do your things well, but don't have ambition. Turned off, storming of the Capitol. Corn crib jigs, faded light, insurrection, schoolhouse, sawmill, Mount Hope, cattle, llamas, all dark. Birdhouses low on a pole pinpoint the horizon. Back on, someone being interviewed says, so make sure what happened today is never repeated in history. Buggies outlined in lights. Ghost Creek draped in willows. People fill a house. Christmas lights loop to loop on their fence up the long drive. A hoop house glows from within, returning from returning. Not sure what road it is we're on. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Give it up one more time for Diana Lueptow. Next to the mic, very first time here at the feature. I'm excited to hear what you bring. Please welcome the mic, Sara.
Thank you. Hi, it's nice to see you all.
Hey, Sarah.
This poem is called Cooking with a Novice. You chop parsley with a boning knife. Cook beef a new kind of dead. And in the living room, I turn the music down to hear you curse the sauce as it makes a man of your tie. As it stains the tip, you will talk into a sport coat. If I felt like buying you an apron, I would. I would call you chef in bed and kiss the joke from one unearnest mouth into the other while waiting for you to do the dishes. I would find recipes and write them on index cards, then bind them with baking twine. I would help you learn, but I wouldn't teach you anything. I haven't been writing much, but this is my newest poem. It's called Bitters. The bars around here only serve your bathwater. Toast the milk of porcelain and the taper of good thigh sweating souvenir shadow. I miss the way your lime would meet my lemon dancing. Like twisting might single helix us, bound and rightly. I don't know where to put the things I bought one day, hoping you might come home to praise them. But capacity feels like a shared tongue when ours aren't off, finding new mouths to clutter. I worship at that altar. Stay busy. Find plush places where my body looks soft like yours and learn to unhate it. I still hope that you are well. That when you think of me, you remember the sound of two laughs playing the middle, cut for time. I love you curtly, which is to say, I hope your cat is still alive, but also, I hope she breaks the skin on occasion when you get bogged down making cocktails with someone who deserves your time and the right bitters. Good kitty. Thanks.
Excellent. So glad you're here. Give it up one more time for Sara. So Diana has a book, chapbook. Our next poet to the mic doesn't have a book that I'm aware of yet, but has an EP coming out because he's a singer-songwriter. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, he canceled the session recording tonight just so he could be here. He's one of our longest and most faithful regulars here. He comes in, I believe, today again, sits down, writes a piece, so sometimes you get to hear something about as fresh as possible. Please welcome to the mic, Amann.
I ain't too vertically challenged tonight.
Hey.
All right, I'll start with some stuff that come off of the page a while back. Drifting. I'm just driving on the rims, waiting for the flames to light. Out of gas, out of passion, dreams fading out of sight. Still alive, but not sure how. No clue what's around the bend. As if I even really care. Drifting to the end. Afraid dreams. All the dreams of flying, all the times I tried, all the things I could have shared but kept them deep inside. In the dreams I kept on climbing, in the days I'm on the ground. I try to write the words to reach you, but I'm afraid to make a sound.
Yeah.
Like I told Keith. The muse was a little slow tonight, so I yanked one out of my planner, but I added a couple of lines to it, so it's still kind of fresh. Only us. There's us and us. Yes, all of us. Us and them is just a lie. Except that all are only us. It takes some work. But please, just try. People thinking some are less is just what got us in this mess. Home. You can always find me online at www.edmanwalking.com. The website contains poetry, music, pictures, and you can find me right here at the next Angry Cow, and also on February 20th, that's a Friday, doing music.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. Yeah, give it up one more time for Ed Amann. I'll use that shout out of the website. You can also find this event at angrycowpoetry.com and then click on Rialto. Once you're there, you can find the past events, you can find upcoming features. I do record the events. If anybody is performing tonight that doesn't want to be part of the video, let me know before you leave and I'll just make sure that doesn't end up there. You're performing tonight without video? Okay, like I can still call you up?
No.
You can sing. I know you can sing. Beautiful singer back here. Next up we have author of an upcoming chapbook that we are going to celebrate here when it's officially out, which is real soon, I believe. Case Study of a Lake Fire, I believe, is the chapbook title. Please welcome longtime regular here, TaJuan SKai.
Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. So yeah, I'm reading poems from that chapbook, Case Study of a Lake Fire. It's out through Bottle Cap Press. If you're interested in looking it up, do some, research on that. But my first poem I'll be reading is titled Medulla Oblongata. Is that part of your brain? Without thought, the same sun, thank God. The morning mist lifts softly, the wind whistles a young autumn song, and for a minute or two, we are children anew, pure in the bottoms and the dregs of what we would become after the drugs. Without thought, we breathe the morning musk, scraping off the escapism, the sticky green from beneath our abyss black fingernails, packing the busted bong with the reaping touch of a tightrope gymnast over a sea of sin. Sun to sun, he said to me, we couldn't be addicts. Our actions symmetrical to the human condition, wanting want. And I wanted to believe him. All roads lead to many rivers into one ocean, infinite lines in the sand. But then these angel lines on the asphalt, white prayers in the bathroom stall, with all this smoke in the air, how could I not see danger? Daggers, decoys, gateways, this obsession with decay I cannot shake. Cloud breakers in shackles, gravity swallowed the keyhole without equal. If you were God, would you smile upon us? The boy and I, simultaneously walking away and towards ourselves, our childhood matured in ways we cannot fully soldier without thought. Yet, without thought, we war in the shadows of breath. Our survival second nature now, thank God. Thank Medulla Oblongata. The morning fog must oblivion eventually. I like to think we will sober up eventually. May these impulses of peace always be enough for me. Thank you. Fun fact about me. I am a chess player. I love chess. I think it's my favorite game. So this next poem is titled Gambit. You know, my favorite little move in chess opening is the Queen's Gambit. You willingly give up a piece in order to gain a better advantage. So in that, I saw a lot of, with addiction struggles, with sobriety, you giving up something in order to gain advantage, blah, 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 blah. You see the links are there. So here we go, Gambit. After all of these relapses, finally, the ska music calms. The rehab cold water tickles and tackles my skin like licks of lightning. The Kindle kind my brain has missed since sobriety. It became lip-sealed shattering showers and infinite shades of gray. Because the Iceman in interview shared hormesis for peace. Gambit the comfort to combat the loops. Loss, the language I know like exhale. Anything to expel the lake fire from my lungs. But the podcast said he couldn't save his wife from God's past. Children kiss, mountainside to coastline, breathtaking dissension. And as I remain cupped hand culpable for my history, my eyes only a sky away, I fear for my old man, alone in the wedding dress of a dried up raisin romance, intoxicated with the time pale purple toy shovel I haven't seen since nostalgia, shoulder deep shoveling up the staggering snowfall that continues, sharp tooth frost gnawing through the thinning flesh, bone flash photography. He is fleeting into an echo in his head. And I want to stop him with simple words. Come home, hot cocoa, comfy couch. But in truth, I am a sky and therapeutic miles away, in search for the room that can hold our smiles, our bone wings, laughter in flight, Lord light lifting without walls through the doorway of my heart. Sober moon, ceiling that you were. Look how far I am from the days I never wanted to be. Poem.
Beautiful. Give it up. TaJuan SKai. Next up, we have a first-timer here. And if you noticed during Scott's set, when Niels revealed his pen name, Scott moved on. So I brought my paper with me because I have to read this shit out loud. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Please welcome, first time up to this mic, Artulis Tidemand.
Well, this is my first time here.
Yeah, glad you're here.
Yeah.
Right about fourth or fifth time in front of a microphone.
All right.
But anyhow, I have a tragic tale, so I'll give it to you at the beginning and then the end, because I found the beginning while I was waiting.
Okay.
And it's a series of poems that I've wrote that kind of go to my heart, but it's kind of a inner self thing. It's called The Viking in Me. The Viking in me is bold, exciting, and adventurous, yet is a stranger in the mist of time that shrouds my mind, yet seems to be a very close friend. My wife is an Irish goddess, loving, free-spirited, full of love, full of wisdom, full of life, and yet most of all, the light of these things. So where I sail into the rough seas, all I need to do is think of her. Then I know I will come through safe. But when I go into battle, all I need to do is think and know that she loves me. And then I see her light. Then all of her light of love pours through me. That is when the wind whispers, "Come to me, my love, come to me." Then there is nothing that can stand in my way. For I know that I am blessed with my goddess love. And that is when my friend, the Viking in me, comes through as bold as he can be. That was one of my first ones. Do I have a limit?
2 poems.
2
So you gotta do
poems?
one more.
Okay. This is kind of like the latest one. And to kind of let you know how it goes. The Viking in me. The Viking in me lost his goddess 2 years ago. And he got lost in the darkness and missed his voyage. He raged and raged until he gave up and didn't care if he died. But living without his goddess is not worth living. He is empty, so empty. No care, love, or happiness. He prayed to the universe, asking the universe to end his misery of emptiness. Then he went to sleep, and when he woke up, he saw a large bonfire. So he set his sail and turned his rudder towards it. As he's getting closer and closer, he sees a figure on the beach, dancing and swaying to the music. So he runs his ship aground right up onto the beach. And then he's sitting on the side of the bonfire and can't take his eyes off of her. She's a goddess, and he's totally transfixed on her. She doesn't notice him. Then, as if he was possessed, he couldn't stop himself. He joined her in her dance. Just like magic, he didn't miss a beat. And then she disappeared. Now, it's been a while, and she appears on the bow of his ship. And just like magic, he loves her more than life itself. And then he thanked the universe for her love.
Thanks so much. Give it up one more time for Artulis Tidemand. While we're on the subject of loss, I didn't lose a spouse, but certainly I've lost loved ones in my life. I'll go next, and then we have 2 more poets after this. I've lost 2 people thus far, super close to Alzheimer's, and I know others in the room have as well. And it's a scary fucking disease, man. to see somebody disappear in front of you while they're still there with you. And I see some recognition around. I know it's not alone here, and runs in your family, and even if it doesn't, shit you worry about as you get older. Like, it's certainly not a way I want to go. So I did write this piece. I'll share this one, and then I'll do one more. When the big bad wolf showed up at your door, he didn't huff and he didn't puff, despite what the story might say. All he needed was time. See, this is why you write them down, right, Steve? I think I know, but I could be wrong. You know what? I'm just gonna pull this shit up. Give me just a second. Right? All right. Let me see where it goes next. I think it's that.
You was kicking ass, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I did miss something. All right. I'm going to start over. And then we're going to cut the fucking video. Because I'm editing, I can do that shit. When the big bad wolf showed up at your door, he didn't huff and he didn't puff, despite what the story might say. All he needed was time. He sat by patiently as one by one the hairs on your chinny chin turned gray. Bricks, you argued, were the sturdiest choice. And in retrospect, your hasty siblings could hardly disagree. This house was built to last through the strongest winds. But the crafty wolf just waited for the rain. So vital, so refreshing at first. But eventually the first crack in the mortar appeared, hardly worth noticing. Then another, still more. Home depreciation is to be expected over the years, we told ourselves. But all this time, the wolf had been sharpening his claws. And now the chipping mortar was easily scratched away. While we were sleeping, the sly predator began dismantling brick by brick. This one, your favorite teacher. This one, how the stove works. A pile of childhood memories falls like sand through your fingers. This one, how to turn on the faucet. This one, how to tell time. This one, your brother's name. Simple pleasures, daily activities, independence. Now just an open space where a wall used to be. You're left sitting in the remains, what little the wolf has left you. Each day, a little more of your house crumbles into nothingness, and he never even had to puff.
Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate that. I'm going to do one more. This is a string of 6 haikus. I did this once before here, but I'm going to bring this out tonight. So when Charlie Kirk was killed, I wasn't celebrating, I wasn't happy, but people wanted me to be sad. They're like, nah, fuck that. This guy's a piece of shit. I'm not celebrating his death, but I'm not going to give you my tears. We've had 400 school shootings in America since Columbine High School in 1999. I'll cry at the other 399. Give me somebody that's worthy of my tears if you want my tears. I'm not condoning shooting, but you're not the person I'm going to cry about. String of 6 haikus here. No thoughts, no prayers for the racist homophobe dying by the gun. Dying by the gun, the American motto dog-tagged on backpacks. Dog-tagged on backpacks scattered along the hallway while school children cry. While school children cry, America embraces the weapons of death. The weapons of death hit a bigot in the neck. Now you want my tears. Now you want my tears. But I've got nothing to give. No thoughts, no prayers.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. We've got 2 more coming up to the open mic. Please welcome longtime regular here. I don't know if you're coming to the mic, if you're coming beside the mic, but please welcome up here Gigi Engelhardt.
I just want to say, first of all, I just think everybody is so brave to be so vulnerable and to share from your hearts. It's so much easier to make people laugh than to reach deep in your soul and speak of the things that really mean a lot to you. And I just want to thank you all for your courage. You inspire me. So, 2 months ago, I shared Everlast's What It's Like and George Michael's Father Figure as a prelude to today's piece. So here goes. Since age 17, after being monogamous for 43 years, my husband died. The following year, I had a brief trial period of mild, not wild, dating affairs. Then I shut my heart down like a steel trap, purposefully. I needed more time to heal, to learn to live alone. But after 2 years of defensive abstinence, I'm dating again. A senior sex life is not quite teenage fornication, but why is the feeling so hauntingly similar? I'm widowed, made single by default. I'm a consensual, adult-free American citizen. Yet I am still chained and held hostage to the misogynistic programming that is deeply etched and ingrained in my brain. Archaic shaming still takes up free rent in my head. Mortal sins of the Roman Catholic Church, fire, brimstone, and hell threaten my evolving self. I can't seem to delete these damaging old tapes from my memory bank, even though I don't believe in them. Purity and virginity, or monogamous marriage, were the only two acceptable statuses of honor for females where I was growing up. Although I hope for a sacred love, I haven't found it yet. So what if I no longer wish to wait for a sacred, lasting love that might never happen to enjoy sex and affection? Why is there no legitimate shared sexual expression for single people in the eyes of the church, in my family, in my own self-perception? How do I reconcile human needs with biblical laws compelled upon my soul since childhood that are harshly enforced for women, but not necessarily for men? Will there always be that nagging feeling of behaving as good as I can be, but never good enough for me now? I did not get pregnant outside of marriage, like Mary in Everlast's What It's Like. But for the grace of God, I worried often that I could have been that Mary before this song ever hit the airwaves. I feared shunning and ostracism as experienced by Hester Prynne in Nathaniel Hawthorne's book, The Scarlet Letter. Why, from Eve in the book of Genesis to this day, is shame and blame on women's sexuality? When I first heard Father Figure by George Michael, it made me cry. That's all I wanted, something special, something sacred in your eyes, for just one moment, to be bold and naked at your side. All I ever wanted is a lasting, loving human connection, and not to feel shame over it. Marriage gave me that license to not feel shame as a sexual human being. Now, 46 years later, I feel the social stigma of being a sexually alive widowed woman. Disapproval now stamps me just as illegitimate as Hester Prynne's out-of-wedlock daughter, Pearl. Seeking to experience intimacy and love and ending up feeling more wounded and judged makes it so easy to want to quit trying. And that's what I did. For 2 years, I quit. Not one date, didn't even look at a man. Now, I'd rather choose to reprogram my shame and fear-based brain. Maybe I am a perfectly acceptable human moral being, whether I'm carrying an invisible scarlet letter on my soul or not. I can shun the hurtful religious messages of my past. Sam Hunt's lyrics nailed it for me. If it's so wrong, why did it feel so right? If it's so wrong, why did it never feel like sinning with you? Can anyone in the Catholic Church please explain this paradox to me? So, if not in a church-approved, legally sanctioned, possession-based marital bed, am I truly no good? And now, in my 60s, Am I suddenly what my mother would have considered a boy-crazy whore? I was so dedicated to only one man my whole adult life, to be a good woman. And now, if no longer conforming to those standards, I must overcome feeling like a bad woman. I don't judge other people this way, yet my mother and the church bound me to these harmful beliefs toward myself. So instead of hanging on to those horribly cruel, injurious voices, I'm practicing listening for my own truth. I don't want to spend the rest of my life sitting at home studying YouTube videos about how to fix broken me. I'd rather risk a broken heart collecting a string of lovers like Catholic rosary beads, which is not my ideal, but it feels better than having no one to share warm skin-to-skin human contact with and comfort with for the rest of my life. Emotional pain has been the most uninvited guest in my life, yet the greatest teacher of empathy for others. Hence, my love forever lasts what it's like. But it's truly time to turn that empathy and compassion around on myself. When Catholic guilt and toxic shame creep up on me now, I will squash them with a new worthy me. And this is not just about sex. It's about permitting myself many joyful experiences in life, finally. So as I heal, will I brave the risk of trying to find love instead of staying alone? Letting life pass me by for fear of being hurt, rejected, or judged? Or most of all, for fear of failing at my mission of finding a lasting, healthy, loving relationship? Will I forever feel tarnished because of religiosity? Or will I one day feel like a self-respecting woman who can legitimately choose whether to share her body or not, depending on her own needs and priorities? Monogamous marriage might be an archetype that somewhat served me and somewhat oppressed me, and it might not work out in my future. Can I become okay with that? Can I ever become unapologetic for seeking healthy human touch and affection in a society that judges me for no longer being a wife through no fault of my own? So, am I a whore or am I sexually empowered? Am I a sinner or am I becoming sexually emancipated? Maybe one day I will experience a healthy, lasting love life. But until that day, maybe I will be my own father figure. Maybe I will be the one to love me until the end of time, George Michael. Poem.
All right, give it up one more time for the sexually empowered Gigi Engelhardt. Thank you so much. Our next poet to the mic, our last poet on the open mic till we get our feature back up here, was here once before, talked of a poem that was fresh and not quite ready, and I believe we get to hear that tonight. Please welcome to the mic, Tasha Lynn.
So, the poem may not actually be done, but I worked on this painting based on the poem, and it's done, and I'm really proud. So, we're going to see if the poem's done.
Yeah.
This is a poem about Icarus and how he became undone. All right. It's called Understood. He watched his father work, listening to his memories with lighthearted ease, distracting him from ambitious dreams. We will fly through the sky on these marvels of my design, his father would say every day. Whew, I need to breathe. Wings molded precisely, you see, 2 for you and 2 for me. They will fit like a glove, taking us to a land we will love. Okay, he would say. He'd go away and play. Then the day came. His father exclaimed, "Come, my boy, make haste. Today we make our escape." Doors of possibilities opened in his mind for the first time. A new reality closer than near. He swallowed his fear. Listening to his father's warnings once more. "Now, son, do you understand? Tell me, my boy, my young man, tell me now, do you understand? He repeated the truth, even though he didn't have a clue, even though he didn't know who he was turning into. But he was right about what he knew. Just without understanding the temptations, without knowing how life's realizations conflict with our earliest expectations, or how the first sight of a dream can make you lose sight of everything. So he said, I understand. And his father exclaimed for the second time that day, my son, my man, it's time to fly. Then he jumped, and oh, did he fly in the vastness of the sky. Exalted he grew, a god in full view. His father asked again, as he soared in the wind, do you understand? Tell me now. Do you know the right way to glide? Do you know how to fly safely through the sky? My son, do you know how to stay alive? At once he said, yes, I understand. Don't soar too high or hang too low. Now, Father, please, let me fly, let me go. My boy, jump and let go. He stood watching his father high in the sky, eager but still afraid of the new. He held, nervously glued to all he ever knew. His father pressed him to master his anxiety, assured him of the safety and the absolute beauty of the destination on the other side of the sea. He took a breath. He took a leap. Then he fell till he flew. And the whole world turned brand new, unfurling above and below his feet, expanding the only horizon he'd ever seen. He grew bolder, yearning for more to explore, more to see, more of everything. He climbed high, then higher, distracted by the crisp clarity of the world above the scenery, warnings slipping from memory. The sights and smells were oh so sweet as the wax fell in the heat. Flailing as he fell into the cold Icarian sea, he finally understood exactly what his father did mean. I still don't think it's done, but I like the painting a lot.
Yeah, it's great.
And I love this one. I did this one a long time ago, and I knew this one was done, so I'll read this one too. It's called Room to Grow. No matter where you start, following the pull in your heart, you'll arrive at a lonely, serene spot where the guiding lights flicker, then stop. At the pinnacle of all the world knows of the passions you are driven to grow. There, the companions become quieter and sparse, while you untangle the secrets of your purpose. There, questions echo inside a desperate mind, where the agreed-upon answers are impossible to find. Remember, when you're wandering in that new place, with no one around to understand or embrace, that everyone's favorite tree stands alone, tall, full, and lovely, just like you, because perfection needs room to grow into.
Let's give it up for the poetry and painting of Tasha Lynn. All right, yeah, we have one more poet to bring the mic. We are going to take a quick 5-minute break before we get Scott Woods up here. A real 5-minute break, not a poetry event 5-minute break. I need to change the battery in my camera. After Scott's set to close the night, we will get a group picture on the mural on the wall. Ed's been really good at reminding me, but today I actually remembered it on my own. I did say that Rialto page on my website, I've revised that lately, a nice photo collage, added a lot more photos up there, so go on there even if you just want to look at some photos here. Suggested $5 donation, there's not cover here, but there is a suggested pot over there that goes directly to our poets. You're filling it up for Scott's pockets. He drove from Columbus, y'all, and he's amazing. So put some in there. There's electronic means, or Scott, I'm sure has electronic means, you just give money right to Scott if you'd like. But there's a pot there if you're willing and able to throw money in, and many you already have. And give me 5 minutes and we'll get Scott back on the mic. How often at a poetry event do you take less than the time announced? We are going to get this show moving because we have one more set from our fantastic feature, and I know some of you work in the morning, and I want to get this going so we can hear and enjoy some more from Scott. So please welcome back to the mic one last time, Scott Woods.
So this next poem is, I had mentioned in the first part of the evening that I am not religious. Having said that, I have an astounding number of poems about Jesus for someone who does not participate. I came up in the church and my mom was like, as long as you stay in my house, you gotta go to church. So when I turned 18 and got out, it was like,
Was there a camera?
But I've written lots of poems about Jesus and religion and that kind of thing. And I don't have a good answer. My answer changes all the time as to why that is true. It probably doesn't matter. I just assume that God likes the poems. So, this one is entitled Jesus, Judas, and the Case of the Old Woman's Son, a Murder Mystery. And I will tell you up front that it is written, it's a persona piece written from the perspective of Judas. And lo, I said unto him, you could just raise him from the dead and ask him who killed him. And Jesus spoke, saying, Judas, you know it doesn't work that way. We were passing through the village anyway, following the midday star. For days he washed feet and consoled lepers, and I would count the money. I wasn't greedy then, just frugal. The old woman split her face, crying for her son and praising the master, brimming to her eyes with despair like love. She offered him 12 apples, all rotten, passing the basket to him humbly. He took only the worst one, fumbled through the fruit for it, took a bite, and winked at me. Jesus played dumb. He did that a lot. And when we were alone, he laughed. Usually at my expense, like someone who knows how the book ends and keeps looking over your shoulder. He would always appear before me and ask, what part are you at? And I would snap at him, and he would kiss me on the cheek. The old woman showed us her son. He could not be touched. The shroud was already upon him, but we swore not to leave his side. I said, would have been better if they kept him where he was. We could have checked for footprints or markings. The master bit his apple, looked me up and down like I was short, and spit apple chunks thusly. Better for the purposes of man, but not for the purposes of the spirit. It was always the spirit with him. Just one time I'd like to turn to him and say, you know, I think the spirit did it. But then I'd have to break the bread and fish for the next 2 weeks. And he had a way of making an easy job last all day. We washed the desert from our hands and hair, prayed, then prayed some more. Jesus whispered to the body, to his hands, to the body, then back to his hands. The wind kicked up outside, but it was completely unrelated. The camels brayed, tumbleweeds batting their shins. That was not completely unrelated. When we had finished, we went to the well and found our man. He was too nervous, too clean for deserts. And no matter how hard he tethered it, his mule would not stand by him in the presence of the Lord. Jesus would not let the villagers slay him. And he took the man's confession, looking into his eyes, holding his cheeks in his palms and smiling. And the killer's tears fell to the dust in fistfuls of passion and shame. When we left the next day, we were already 2 days behind the 11. They would wait, but I would hear about it. Every time he is with you, Judas, he is late, Peter would say. Go count crows, I'd say, and ignore him, as usual. Jesus was curious, always gripping at things to see how they worked. We stopped by a river, and he spoke thus. Judas, how many loaves of bread would you lay before me that I could not walk on this water? Every time he said something like this, I clutched at our purse. I knew better than to challenge the master, but on that day, I wagered that he could not swim. And as I pulled him from the river, choking and laughing and clutching at my neck for purchase, he slapped my back and said thusly, "This is why I love you, Judas. You do not believe everything you hear, and if anyone asks, you are baptizing me." And shook his hair like an animal in from the rain. Thus saith the Lord, forever and ever. Amen. Did anybody ever have to go to, never mind, I'm not going to read that poem. Let me switch it up. So there's a poet friend of mine in the room tonight, Sara, who you heard in the open mic. I have a couple of poetry friends in the room tonight, but I'm talking about Sara at the moment. Sorry, Steve. And so it is good to catch up, and I haven't seen Sara in some time. And she was in Columbus originally, so that's how we know each other. And she would come out to my open mic and do these amazing poems, like the amazing poems that you heard tonight. And I seem to recall there was a poem of mine that she enjoyed.
Rainbow Trout.
Yeah.
No hesitation.
In the first book.
Thank you for thank you. So I'm gonna. Is that you want to hear that one tonight?
Yes.
Okay. I will do that one tonight.
Thank you.
So this is a love poem. Written by a rainbow trout who loves a squid. This is entitled "The Rainbow Trout Extols His Many Virtues to the Squid." You see all that blue? I give you that. We can only take it a little at a time, but it's yours anytime you want it. You have 3 hearts. I only need one, and you may keep it there in the mollusk of your head. I only need know you have it. I am only made of heart, and your love had a hook in it once. When I chased a dragonfly who flew too close to the water, carrying a diamond he could not lift, I snatched it from him for you. And then, for 10 seconds, I saw it all. Gulped the blue in killing swallows. Glared at a battleship of wood and meat, your love the only thing to come back for. So let me place a fin on each side of your indigestible beak when we kiss. Like you were going somewhere, and I stopped you from pushing away, sea pouring out of you in flight. Every time you kiss me like you mean it, your tongue strips scales from my sides, dotting your mouth with pieces of the sky after a rainstorm. To us, it's just a really loud neighbor we only see in flashes. But sure, I've seen where the colors come from. They come from my back, and I bleed them into that blue up there every time you prove you love me. Somewhere, they say, there are people who look at our pools like we look to the blue, with meaning in their hearts. The currents making noises when they hit the rocks, if you can believe that. If it's true, It's foolish. We already know what's down here. It's the blue that's got all the mystery, that keeps the secrets, that keeps on going. This all ends at the bottom. We can only go so far before the dust and Lagan tells us that's it. The blue keeps us honest, keeps the trout flying, trying to unlock its blood and point. I know about the shell that used to be inside of you, the way it tried to protect your hearts with biology. Your mantle now full of shards and legends. Some fish cracked it out of you before me. That was wrong. Not like us at all. I warm for your arms and your ink. Blot me in a cloud of your black kisses. For that, you may have my rainbow. I can part with it if I know it's going to you. Each of us completing some biological puzzle piece of the other, until there is only a mermaid to show for it. That's ridiculous. You're better than that, come on. You're all better than that. So, as I mentioned, I used to run an open mic for many years. A couple years ago, I decided 24 was enough. I would like all of my Wednesdays back. I mean, we were weekly, like we were every week.
Oh, dang.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah, right. See, now you feel it, right? So, I was the MC, and I would get up and I would do Scott things. But as we got to about this part in the show, when the open mic was winding down, I would get up and I would say, okay, everybody, let's go ahead and wrap this open mic up so I can go get some wings, right? And that was not a joke. That was real. Most Wednesdays when I said that, I was always going to go have dinner. And one night I said that, and I looked out to the audience. I said, "Hey guys, blah blah blah, wings." And I looked out to the crowd, and there's this woman. Were you there that night? And she was like shaking her head like, and I had to stop the show. I was like, "Whoa, what's going on? What's the problem?" And so for several minutes, she told the whole room all about the stereotypical nature of black people and wings, chicken. And I was like, wow, that's I had never heard that before. And so rather than get into a street fight with a white woman, I wrote this poem.
Is that white splaining? Is that?
Sure, we'll call it. And so this poem is entitled, What I Know About Chicken That You Do Not. There's a video of me reading this in Canada. And they have black people there, so they also are aware of the stereotype. But there was a whole thing. It's a fun video, you'll see. If you watch it, it's fun. I think the ending is slightly different. Anyhow, what I know about chicken that you do not. If this is freedom, I don't want it. If I cannot tell you what I am eating without the missionary tract of a more responsible menu that wants to starve me out of my utter blackness, you can keep your freedom. Shove it deep into your pocket. Poke it through your pants leg until you tear a hole in it. Freedom running down your thigh like grease and itis drool. Everybody know what the itis is?
No.
So that's a black thing. So the itis is when you eat and then you get sleepy. We call that the itis. And I'm like, oh, okay, yes.
Take our notes.
Itis drool. I am having chicken later. That is what is going to happen. It will be tossed in a Texas mesquite dry rub. It will crunch sweet under the teeth and tongue. It is chicken even a white person would eat. It is chicken a white person will cook when I pay for it. That is truth. If you cannot see the me that has been standing here, because chicken is choking smoke and dancing soup, then you keep that freedom. That freedom that knows how I should talk about my dinner. If I should have said pizza, because watching this mouth say chicken hurts. If that is freedom, then show me that other water fountain again. Make me wonder when you serve my food, the slick of your throat buttering my willfully ignorant steak and potatoes like it used to. You would have me lie about chicken like I do not know it. Its taste, its warmth, its embrace of hot sauce and spices. As if I do not pass your salted altars every day. As if you wouldn't dream of cholesterol as weapon. As if I should not lump you in with white breast and dark lie. When I don't, I leave you to your yoga classes. You're right to review every black appetite as if we have laid them out for you like biology frogs. I should have said I was getting frog legs instead. Tasted that affluenza inoculation, shaped like tender nuggets, that smells like that good freedom, that freedom that has no retort, no smack of lip, no ancient stereotype. Because that's how we know when you're ready for freedom now. Whether you can keep chicken to yourself, nibble at it quiet, under cover of freedom that knows what's best. That secret culinary criminality that makes martyrs in bloody driveways and swamp-sunk station wagons and Harlem ballrooms and hotel balconies. Every chalk outline easily avoided by just ordering the salmon. You don't know shit about chicken. How it ran cold beside us in hobo cloth torn from shirts, had to live in us for days. How it bathes like an oasis in a desert where you can't find a vegetable for miles. How about I tell you which branding irons still have fire? Which blocks have the guns that won't wait for New Year's Eve? Which of those old suits in the closet that you remember us wearing still fit? Bones in your pockets from the moths who have taken up residence and, as it turns out, also love a good piece of dry rub chicken and have been known to speak surprisingly well for their kind. Okay, so as was mentioned earlier, I drove up here, and when we're done, I'll be driving back. I gotta work in the morning too.
Damn.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So they're not gonna get the best me. It's okay. So this poem is about. It's also about food, as I love food, and but it's about driving with food. So this piece it's short. It's entitled Adam's Ribs and Chicken and Biscuits. I have loved barbecue like I have loved you. Stoked in the mesquite fire of a black-bellied stove, flamed with attention, fought with drunken men over the best parts, swallowed hard, set to watering a mouth full of summer gunshots, slathered it with secrets and longing, whispering, cursing prayers into the heat to make it last just 1 minute longer in the wavering fade of August. And now you are thinking, he just compared me to a meal, which is not what I have done at all. I have compared my gods to you, given you back that stolen rib and made a meal of it. Look at me. This is no trifling game. I worship at my altars daily, and my gods have tried to kill me twice this year. Once by driving my blood into frenzy, salting my veins, doctors everywhere bowing their heads. And then another time, while I was driving, my car filled with the hymn that only a bag of Pulled pork knows the lyrics to. Plastic clinging to the sweat of its styrofoam. Jarred by the acrid burn of tire screech as I peel myself out of a seatbelt, engine gone, windows eggshelled all over me, while I lick the evidence of my complicity from my fingers, smacking lips of love and sauce in my palms. It is a crime usually reserved for driving while writing poems. But then, I am an acolyte of many pantheons, wholly ghosting out of me all the ways to love you. How ridiculous. All right, so I wrote that. It's from how to say this. It's from experience, except I didn't crash the car. Okay, so like there's a restaurant in Detroit called Sweetwater's, and if I'm within an hour of Detroit, I will stop at Sweetwater's. And sometimes I will eat at Sweetwater's, but sometimes I got to take it on the road, and that's where that poem comes from, because I eat it on the way back to Ohio. So that's where that comes from. I think I'll do one more. It's cool.
What are you feeling? Definitely. We're here for you.
No, what are you feeling? I work for you. So, I'll do two. How about that? I'll do two.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Please.
Because it is getting, the hour is getting, See?
On cue.
Yeah, I heard that. Yes, I'm with you, my friend. Okay. Here's a short one. When I was coming up, we used to make nunchucks. You know what nunchucks are? Right, nunchucks, Bruce Lee nunchucks. But we would make them poorly because we were children and poor. So this poem's entitled How to Make Nunchucks. First, you need to know that no one owned a car seat back then. Pregnant women cut back by smoking weed. So a broomstick snapped in half to make nunchucks didn't even register as dangerous. The word nunchaku comes from the Japanese Ryukyuan languages, loosely translated as latchkey ghetto child sleeping pill. The chain could come from anything. The worn teeth from an old bike, the bottom of a now dead grandfather's toolbox, a kitchen junk drawer, never explained. Finding chain was never the issue. Sticking chain to wood was the real word problem. Always starting with, does your mom have any duct tape? Ending with a smashed tooth on the ground. Somehow your own. A feat you are sure Bruce Lee never pulled off. It is a kata worthy of a black belt, you think. Even as the hiss of your mother's belt comes quick out of the gate of her pant loops, slicing the air with a matador's flourish to the roar of children.
Yeah.
I know what you're thinking, white people. You're thinking, oh my God, that poem ends with capital punishment, corporal punishment. Corporal punishment. And you're right, it does.
That's funny.
And that's how I know there's no black people left in the room. Because they would have laughed at that last bit, and y'all were just mortified. So to take you out on a complete note of mortification,
Yeah.
I'm going to read you a poem I haven't read in years. Like years, like real years. This one's, my mother hates this poem. It's called Whoopings. This is your ally check. A whooping is a ritual. I agree. Smack on the. I'm just going to tell you now, again, I have not read this poem in years. I haven't even looked at this poem in a very long time. So it may not have aged well. We will find out together. Whooping is a ritual. I agree. A smack on the back of the head is degrading. Borders on the piece, but a whooping whooping is an understanding. Praying to leather belt gods, extension cord deities, flying shoes made missiles, switches ripped from the arms of understanding trees. Some of you will not understand what I am talking about. Some of you will nod your heads and feel the breath of a ghost belt whispering in your ear. My mother was an educated woman, but she couldn't count to save her life. 10 whoopings were frequently 13. She blamed my squirming. I blamed her Nelsonville education. And you know what I'm talking about. Vision born from whooping number 233. I have seen the skillet swing of a mother who doesn't care what you think, reaching for a son too tall for bending over bedsides anymore. Goliath slain by cast iron love. Now, my mother never did that to me. But I had a brother. And the difference between a whooping and abuse is knowing when the lesson is over. And knowing that in the swing, there is love. And in your calls for her death between sniffles, you always knew the truth. You deserved it. You may not have deserved 13, but 10 was your magic number. I have seen a generation that will not understand this book, that will see a victim in its author. You have not been spared. Your scars will come to you, and one day you will look into a mirror, marvel at how much even smooth skin can hide. Every scar is not a welt that will not go away. You will cut scars into your face with laughter. You do not mean to hide pain you cannot share. But I can talk to my mother. I know her reach. It is deeper than skin or the depth of a leather belt. It is the distance between two hearts that know what the other is capable of, which is to say, it is no distance at all. Akron, thank you so much. And, if any of you have been traumatized by the end of the show tonight, it's Keith's fault.
Scott, could you hold up your books and just say what they are?
Sure.
Get them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy. This is a Pokemon. So, my first book is Way Over Here Now.
Okay.
I read a couple of poems from this one. It's pretty good. It's like, I did a lot of chapbooks before I got to this one.
Yeah.
My second book, in short order, was Urban Contemporary History Month. And this one is, I used to tell people before this last book I put out, I would say, this is the one you want to get. I really spent a lot of time trying to create a reading experience with this book. So it has Choose Your Own Adventure after every poem, which works, whatever that means to you. And then there's a handy index in the back of subjects covered by the poems. And then there's blurbs on the back, but I made all the blurbs up. Well, technically, I didn't make them up. I got them from they're not poetry blurbs, is the point. All right, so there's that. And then my most recent book, which came out at the end of 24, is Black Night is Falling.
Yeah.
This is the one I now recommend people get if I'm their, if this is their first time. Unless you just really like Choose Your Own Adventure. But this is what I call like my blues album. If I were a musician, this would be my blues album. And so this one runs the gamut. I know tonight we kind of had a lot of fun. And this one has a little bit of fun, but it also understands the world that we're living in. So those are the three books.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then there were several poems I read that are new that were not in any of the books. I'm so sorry for entertaining you massively. All right.
Amazing.
Fantastic. Thank you, Scott.
Yes, indeed.
That was so good.
I believe if you get the most recent book, you get a persona piece from the character of a white folding chair. Is that the last book?
That is correct.
Yeah. Check it out, seriously. It's a great poem. It's a great book. I read as much as I could until I lost the book, and now I also need to go reorder it because it just hasn't shown up. How y'all doing? You have a good night?
Great.
Yeah. Fantastic. So glad you were here. Shout out to Sara, our bartender. I'm not sure where you're at, but thank you. Shout out to Nate Dale back here. Rialto Theatre, love y'all. Appreciate those the first time here. Ben, thanks for coming. Niels, thanks for coming. Sarah, thanks for coming. For those of you who are your second time or your 30-some time, I'm glad you were all here. Let's give it up for everyone who touched the open mic, all the voices that came up. Appreciate y'all. Fantastic job. For everyone being in the room, we couldn't do this without all of the other ears and the support and the love that y'all bring to this. And then last, certainly not least, give it up one more time for your amazing feature, Scott Woods. We'll be back every first Wednesday of the month, but the first Wednesday of February, DS Will is coming up from North Carolina, so even further drive than Columbus. Come back for that. Thanks, y'all.